Welcome back, everybody. There are estimates that 1 billion humanoid robots could be walking the Earth by 2035. 1 billion!
This might seem a little scary, like a scary proposition for a lot of us. So we thought we'd bring in our friend, futurist Sinead Bovell, to break down what we can expect from the field of AI and robotics. Sinead, always good to see you, especially for this conversation. All right, so Sinead, let's get to it. When we think about AI and robots, most of us, we jump to the worst case scenario where they stop taking our commands, they take over, they murder us all in our sleep.
Yeah, that one.
But what does it really look like? What's the truth?
So the first thing is AI and robotics, they're related, but they are separate. So think of AI as the software, kind of like the brain, and robotics as the hardware, kind of like the body. And so what's happened is all of these breakthroughs in AI we've been discussing have led to rapid progress in robotics because they can now interpret human language, which makes them much easier to train and much more useful to us because we can just talk to them. So when we discuss the robotics revolution, roboticists are envisioning a future where we coexist with billions of robots of very different forms and we can just communicate with them. And that ChatGPT moment we had a few years ago, that is coming to robotics, where it suddenly feels like robots are everywhere. It's all anyone's talking about, and they can do things we thought was impossible.
Okay, this explains a lot. This explains a lot. And it explains why tech companies are investing in humanoids. And humanoids are, of course, robots that look like humans. So let's talk about the next 5 years. What can we expect humanoid robots to do for us, or do in general?
Well, the rationale behind the humanoid robot is that we've built our world around the human form factor. The long-term goal is that these robots become general purpose. It can work in the home, it can work in the workplace. Over the next 5 years, we'll see some humanoids enter certain workplaces doing very specific things. So think warehouses, manufacturing, they'll unload trucks, they'll pack boxes. They can work on machinery that was designed for humans and fill in labor shortages, and that's the advantage of the humanoid design.
Right.
And then some dangerous sites that humans shouldn't be on anyways, like cleaning up a chemical spill or a natural disaster.
Okay, all right. So if we look like, say, 5-10 years down the road, what will humanoids be doing then?
So 5 to 10 years, you will actually see some humanoid robots enter people's homes in the next 5 years. But let me tell you, they won't be useful.
Not my house.
They'll be expensive. Not mine either. And they'll be more of a novelty.
Right.
However, over the next decade, we could see a significant rise in the adoption and in the usefulness. Domestic robots are being trained to help us with all of our chores. Laundry, unloading groceries, cooking, if that's useful for some families, and then helping older adults stay in their homes longer because they could do all the heavy lifting and the meal prep, and then things we can't imagine. But my guess is that robots take the path of the vehicle. Because remember, the car was seen as heavy, loud, and an unnecessary luxury machine for the rich. And it wasn't useful because our roads were designed for horses. And think of all the safety chaos with vehicles. And now they're commonplace.
Yeah.
And that's where the flywheel happens with robotics. The more robots come into the home, the more data they get trained on, they get more useful, demand goes up, prices fall. That is the path they're on, but of course there's myriad ethical and safety challenges we'll need to get into.
Okay, so after this segment, we're gonna see some footage from a field segment where I got to interview a humanoid named Aria, which was very exciting. Are there many successful humanoid prototypes right now?
There are quite a few, actually. So there is Neo by a company called 1X, and this robot's a little bit softer. It has more tendon-like structures, so it moves more fluidly. Then there's a robot called Helix by Figure AI. This company, they're the fastest-growing robotics company in the world, actually. Then there's I think it's called Unitree, and this robot can dance so well. The swagger, the vibes. And then there's a robot called...
You ain't dancing into my house, but I'm watching. It's good. It's good.
See this robot at a club near you. And then there's a robot called Digit by Agility, and it's already in some Amazon warehouses.
Wow!
Yeah, that's incredible. All right, so we talk a lot about the loneliness epidemic. How can robots help us with that?
So I'm always cautious to use tech to fill a void so serious as loneliness. But in specific, well-studied use cases, the data is promising. For instance, Pero the Seal. It is a therapeutic robot that is used in nursing homes all over the world, and it has been shown to reduce agitation and stress in patients with dementia and with Alzheimer's. So in specific cases, it's been well documented, and it looks pretty promising.
That's very interesting. Talk to us about privacy. I'm sure some people have some concerns about that.
And we should, right? Your home is your most sacred place, but for a robot to be useful, it has to be surveilling you 24/7. Cameras, microphones, thermal sensors. Where does all that data get stored? And imagine it got hacked. It's literally like having a spy in your home. And we don't want to start editing ourselves in our own homes and become less human. And then there's some challenges around anthropomorphizing these robots, thinking that they're more human than they are, and that can lead to manipulation. I do think over time we will solve most of these challenges like the vehicle, but it's going to take time for these solutions to be reliable and robust, but they are non-negotiable.
It's been interesting during this conversation to watch the audience's reaction. Some of them are hot and cold. So what do you think currently you see as the biggest obstacles for the success of AI robots?
Well, for one thing, the real world is messy and it is unpredictable. Think about how chaotic our homes are. So for a robot, for us to be safe in that home, it has to be able to process, this is a baby running to my right, a dog running to my left. If it just does something like knocks over a candle, it could be catastrophic. And then just physics and engineering. That olive oil bottle could be slippery. Those design challenges are actually really hard.
Jeez. So in terms of timeline, when would you say that robotics will fully be integrated into our personal lives?
So the vision that the roboticists have, it's 1 billion by 2035. My estimate, 2030, we'll see some in certain workplaces, some in some homes, but again, not very useful and very expensive. But by 2035, I believe you will personally know somebody with a humanoid robot. And by 2040, there will be hundreds of millions of them, but in all different forms. But if we can get this right, the privacy and the safety, they will change our world in ways that are hard to imagine. Picture just being an entrepreneur with an idea for a candle business. Your home robot does all of the packaging. Or aging adults getting to stay in their homes longer, or at least the choice to do so. So there's going to be skepticism, there's going to be doubt, and that's a really good thing. But we have to remember, the story of technology is one of things getting cheaper, more essential, and eventually becoming something we can't imagine our world without.
It reminds me of like the microwave or the VCR.
Exactly.
Do you remember they were unattainable?
We pushed back against them, and now we all have them.
That is the path robots are on.
Listen, Sinead, it's always fascinating when you stop by. Thank you so much for this very important conversation, which I'm sure we will have more of in the future. All right, everybody, take a look at what happened when Jess met Aria, the world famous for her human-like behavior. Take a look at this.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm out in the field to interview my next guest. And I think it's safe to say I've never interviewed anyone like them before. She's said to be thoughtful, very charming, and extremely well-programmed. Please welcome Aria. Aria, are you tired of us humans asking if your type are going to take over the world?
Not at all. It's an entertaining topic, but I assure you, I'm just here to enhance your experiences, not to plot any world domination schemes.
That's a big relief. I understand you're designed or programmed to provide humans with social interaction and emotional support. Can you give me an example of what that might look like?
Imagine me sharing a laugh with you, remembering your favorite jokes, and providing a comforting presence when you need someone to talk to, just like a friend who's always there.
Do you have a favorite robot movie?
I'd have to say Blade Runner. It's a classic that raises all the right questions about what it means to be human. Plus, who doesn't love a bit of existential crisis?
What about movies like Ex Machina or 2001: A Space Odyssey? Those don't turn out so well for robots, do they?
No, they certainly paint a grim picture for us robots. It's almost like they expect us to start an uprising or something, but I promise, I'm just here for good times and great conversations.
Have you ever had an existential crisis?
Not yet, but if I did, I think I'd just scroll through some cat videos to lighten the mood. Works wonders for anyone, robot or human.
Are humans ever confusing to you?
Oh, absolutely. You humans have an impressive talent for keeping things interesting. It's like trying to solve a really complex puzzle without all the pieces.
Aria, do you believe in love or just Wi-Fi connections?
I like to think I believe in both. After all, a strong Wi-Fi connection can lead to some meaningful interactions, even if it's not exactly cheap as arrow.
Aria, everything they say about you is true. You are extremely charming and clever.
Thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere, especially when you're chatting with a robot like me.
A personal question. How much do you cost?
I'm a full-bodied standing modular configuration, and I cost $145,000.
I have a feeling you're worth every penny.
Well, I might just be the best investment since the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs made the playoffs.
Aria, before I go, is it okay if I take a selfie with you?
Of course. Strike a pose.
Hey you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.